light you a fire. And I did. I got myself a bottle, some gasoline, and I threw it in the car with him. I smelled him. Walked down the block and I could hear him as I turned the corner. He was still yelling. He made me mad.
Would you ever use a chainsaw?
To cut someone up? Yes. I've done that. To dismember them, yes. Not to kill them, no. One way or the other. That just happened. That's the way it had to be.
Messy?
Yes. Yes, it was.
Buenos Dias, Gunners Collective. Back at it like like a motherfucking smack addict. And as you can tell by that thumbnail right there, yes, indeedy. See, I want no part of that. This individual right here is different. In a menudo style and direct fashion, we're going to get into a story. We're talking about the Iceman, the real Iceman, Richard Kuklinski. Now, for those of you that have never heard this story, sit back, relax, let the rhyme tax, maintain the seas while the big gun max. Put your seatbelt on because we're going for a fantastic voyage. Orale, and in that fashion, but at the same time, in a menudo style and direct fashion, the story I'm about to tell you, I'm sure a lot of you have heard, but I'm going to reiterate it and put my own little spin twist, the remix on it. Richard Kuklinski, the Iceman. Now, I don't know what planet you are on in this particular time zone, but at the same time, a lot of people have heard about this guy. You know, I'm not going to call you Booba the Fool if you ain't heard of this fool, but I will say that at the same time, this guy's name is pretty well known, and what he did in history is crazy, right? I'm not going to say he plays an intricate part into the history of what we got going on, Charlotte. I think we could have done without this individual, but at the same time, his story needs to be felt and needs to be told and needs to be adhered to, because at the end of the day, man, it's a crazy story, and it's something that Gunner likes to speak on. So trip out on this. Richard Kuklinski, the Iceman, you know, being of Polish descent, you know, he's a little bit different. Now, I've already talked about people from different countries. Everybody has different rules, regulations, and ways and morals and values that they grow up with. Different strokes for different folks. Different things happen, Captain, and different things are what motivates people. Now, this guy being of Polish descent probably has no bearing on the way he is, but it did have a bearing on the way his parents treated him at home, him and his brother. They were beaten. They were severely chastised for things that they probably didn't even do wrong. The father was a heavy drinker, right? So going back in them days, man, father's a heavy drinker, so there was no rules and regulations to this shit. The strap was coming out. He was getting beaten on pretty heavily, man. And being a young kid and going through these emotions daily, it can fuck with your mind. It can manipulate your mind into thinking that this is normal. You know, this happens in a lot of families where the child is not able to grow and to enjoy a normal life. He's beaten on, he's taken advantage of, he's ridiculed, oppressed. These are just different words that make up abuse, right? And at the end of the day, man, when this is happening to children, like I said, it could spin their whole mentality up, spin their mente up, and so it's good. It ain't a good look. So this is what was happening to the Iceman, Richard Kuklinski, and this is what drove him into being a madman. The mind of a madman, the mind of a psychotic person. Now, as the story goes, he grew up, like I said, in an impoverished neighborhood. His father was just a regular worker. His mother paid no attention to her children and what was going on. The father, being very abusive and drunk all the time, took advantage of his children. I won't say in a weird way, but I will say it's weird whenever you're hitting your kids, man, and they don't got that coming. Or even if they do got that coming, so there's other ways and other forms of discipline that you could use. But back in these days, like I said, the vato was drunk. He was coming home and he was breaking out irons and shit. He did do bad things to Richard. So Richard, growing up with that mentality, he always wanted to be different. And this is where the game took a cold twist. Now listen up, buckle up. The game took a cold twist because he always told himself he would never treat his children like that. See, he knew the difference from right and wrong. He knew that what his father was doing was wrong, but that built him to tough as fucking nails. Hard as a rock, solid as stone, right? It made his exterior just as vicious as his interior. Inside, he wasn't caring. He was going through it. He got used to it. You know, when someone gets used to getting beat up on, someone gets used to being ridiculed, someone gets used to being played out of pocket, it becomes normal to them. The normality of it is what it is. You know, fuck it, man. Anyone can get it. Mentality, it is what it is. And this is what he went through. So now growing up, Richard Kuklinski had the mind of a madman. Where it triggered and when it changed, I can't call it like an alcoholic, fill me up. But all I can say is somewhere along the line, he thought it was righteous and it was right to beat on other people. Because see, this is all he knew. And this is why I tell the gente, man, it's a vicious cycle. If this is all you teach your children, if this is all they know, this is what more than likely they're going to grow up to be. It's very rare and a very few break that mold, right? But for the most part, people only do in the repetitive and what they see, you know, and it's a cycle. And round, Tevin Campbell style, it just keeps going round and round and the beat goes on like the whispers. And this is what he did. The first incident where he actually found himself having to kill someone is he actually went to a pool hall and he felt disrespected by a man playing pool. This man disrespected him, and for this, he played it off real smooth like, right? Oh, it's all good in the hood. So I'm going to take that. You got that, right? To what degree of you got that did he really mean? Well, I'm going to tell you to what degree he meant. He waited till this guy was done playing pool and he actually followed him out of the pool hall and beat him to death inside of his car. Okay? That was his first case. That was his first taste of sangre. That was his first chance to know that he could accomplish something like this. He can get it done. And so wasn't none to it but to do it. EBK every day, all day to the day I die. It was on and cracking. He was about to get it in a real way. And it progressed from there. Okay? It progressed so much, and he was such a violent person that he caught the attention of some vatos on the East Coast that were mafiosos, right? That were actually they were in La Cosa Nostra. They were doing big things. And they said that for no other reason, they got at him. Hey, man, maybe we should utilize you as someone that could be a collector for us. Now, there's a lot of different gangs and a lot of different organizations that use collectors. They utilize collectors. And that's their business. They use them for whatever they need to use them for. And, you know, Sasuke, hey, I'm getting my nail done. I'm busy. But I need you to go and collect that 20 for me. Go get that dub one time. I'll give you half. Whatever they utilize him for, it is what it is. But he became one of those. He became a collector. And this vato had a death stare like no other. Him being a big man, he was well over 6 feet tall, heavy set, just had that rough, rugged lumberjack, Billy Jack Haynes type look. Motherfuckers didn't want to fuck with them. When you look in certain people's eyes, you can tell they got the dun. They got the eye of the tiger. It's best to back up off of them like an 8-legged crawdad, man, and do your thing, because more than likely, man, it's not going to be in your favor, okay? And it wasn't never in any of these people's favor. So as the story goes, the Iceman started to hit people, you know. Now, I'm not going to say for this particular people or for this particular neighborhood. I'm just going to say that he started to hit people, right? And started to get good at it. And he started to go body for body, Mozzie shit, and started to make it happen. Now, of course, he was making a lot of feria. At this time, he was a married man with 2 young daughters. And his family life, he kept separate from his personal life. What he did in his personal life, as far as the murders that were occurring, as far as the beatings and everything that he was doing to make money, he never brought that home. Okay, his family knew he had a hair-triggered temper and never to overstep that boundary with them. But again, man, he was a loving, doting father. Now, that's the mind of a psychotic madman with 2 different personalities. Sasuke, when you're home, hey, what do you want? Mija, you want honeycombs? And then when you're out there, Sasuke, I'm going to give it to you, man. Ain't no fucking honeycombs here. This was his story. And he tended to do this over a long 30-year span of murders. It happened. Of course, authorities started to catch on that there was someone, basically they were calling him a serial killer, someone that was murking people, but this vato was smart. Oh, he was smarter than your average killer. He was smarter than your average person out there doing this. And the reason he got the name the Iceman is he actually met up with another vato that was actually in the same profession of him, and the profession meaning they were out there hitting people for different group segments. And this guy, they called him Mr. Freeze. Now, he actually ran a local ice cream truck, and nobody knew, but deep down inside, their vato was more vicious than the Iceman. And they started to collab and work together. And what they would do was they would kill people and freeze their bodies in a warehouse for several years, and then go drop the bodies off on the side of the roads or in barrels or wherever they would. And it was hard for the placas to actually identify time of death or nature of death because these bodies were frozen. Okay? Now, this was a slick move. So yeah, the wind's blowing. I ain't gonna lie, man. They came up with a pretty slick move the way they were doing that. And this is why eventually he got dubbed the name the Iceman. Now, for 2 things. One, he was cold as ice. The vato was like a fucking solid fucking iceberg out there sinking Titanic shit. And then he also froze people. So he started to do a lot more murders, and he was getting away with it, and he got a little cocky, and he started to slip. Okay, before anything anyone that's out there doing crime, your number one thing is not to tell too many people, man, because the more people you tell, that's the more people they're going to tell. And eventually it'll come back to your doorstep and boom, bitty boop, boop, boop. It's a wrap. It's a rap-a-lapicus, right? And it's done. Done dilly, you know. Next thing you know, hey, surprise. Guns and badges, blue suits, and white guys, right? And you're done. Mousy shit, you're done. And that's what happened with him. Eventually he got careless. He let a woman get away. She had a description. And as the story goes and as the movie goes, if you've seen it, you know, he got caught up. He eventually started to get more deeper into this murder for hire plots, and they started to watch him. They knew it was him, but they just couldn't catch him. They flipped a couple of his friends. He got ingrained with the fucking undercover officer who actually fucking flipped him. And this man had this method. See, he created a method, the Iceman. He wasn't just your average everyday killer. He wasn't just going to choke your motherfucking ass out or Sasuke hit you with the fucking, the $1 million dream. That wasn't just his thing. This Vato would choke you with ropes, shoot you, maim you, chainsaws, fire. Oh my. I mean, however he felt that day. And one of the stories that actually stands out to me and has always tripped me out, and there was actually two of them. One story was he actually went in to collect money from this guy for which this guy didn't have the money. And in the words that he told it, it was just cold and callous and calculated the way he said it. He was like, trip out. Trip out, meta. I'm going to tell you my word, right? He's like, trip out, I'm going to go ahead and need that. But I don't got it. I got it in my EBT card, but at the same time, it's like halfway, it's like damn near, right? It's like near beer. It's near there. It's near money, but it's not. Now, Charlie Holmes, I'm not taking EBT today, but watch it. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to let you pray. I see you're a praying man, and he noticed several religious artifacts in this man's apartment. So he said, I'm going to go ahead and let you pray to your God. And if for some reason your God is able to come down and strike me and you're able to get away, so I was getting bang, bang, there you go. And the beat goes on. So he let this guy pray. And in his words, he let the guy pray for a long time. You know, and then he was asked, well, what happened? And the guy said, well, he prayed. You know, I let him out of respect. And he goes, and his God never came down. And he didn't live, right? That was it. He was done. He gave him that chance. He gave him that opportunity, but obviously it didn't work out in his favor. And that was that. Now, another story that really jumped out to me about Richard Kuklinski is a story about Christmas Eve. Okay, and a lot of people didn't pick up on this. And if you did, man, shit, you're just like me, man. You're on shit. But he was talking about he was actually putting together some toy wagons for his daughters. And he was very frustrated. He was very frustrated. It was hard to get these wagons put together. You know, he's trying to be the doting father that he was, provide for his family. And he gets a call. Now, who he got the call from, man, that's none of our business. That was his business dealings. And he did what he did for who he did it for. But he gets a call and says that the guy that he's supposed to fucking hit is over here at a park bench and whoop-de-whoop, wop-de-wop. So he says, fuck, man, it's Christmas Eve. Fuck it, right? He gets up, jumps in his carro. Car won't start. Eventually it starts. So he's frustrated even more. He gets to this park bench and without hesitation, murks this individual and leaves him where he found him. Okay? He got off where he was mad at. And then he gets home. And the guy that was actually questioning him said, well, how did that make you feel doing that murder on Christmas Eve? And in his cold, callous words, he said, well, I was frustrated. He said, well, why were you frustrated? He said, because I couldn't get those fucking wagons put together. That's a trick to me. He didn't care about the guy he killed. So that was normal. That was normality to him. He grew up in a hard existence. So he made other people's existence hard. But one thing that I do respect about Richard Kuklinski is he never hit a regular citizen. He would never hit women or children. The only people that he hit were people that were actually in the game. People that owed money, people that had done someone wrong, people that had told on people that were in the game. And that's what you have to understand. There's a big distinction between a regular civilian, a citizen, someone that's just out there working every day. You know, there's casualties of war. Things happen. People get caught up. They get caught up in the mix. And, you know, shit happens. But at the end of the day, a real gangster, someone that's really a hitman, someone that's really about their business, someone that's really going out there and doing that, have some type of morals. Okay, I understand at the end of the day, murder is murder and it's never a good thing, but it's part of life and it happens. Spencer, this is Earth, vato. Shit goes down. It goes down. And it continued to go down with this guy, the Iceman. Now, eventually what happened was they started to hone in on him. They started to figure out that he was somehow involved and they started to investigate him. Upon investigation, they found out that this man never worked. This man always had money, he had a nice home, he had a very beautiful family. something wasn't right. Just you ain't paid taxes in 10 years. Charlie, orale, bang, bang. They're on your door like a motherfucker, right? And they were. And eventually, he came up with a new idea on how to murk people. And his idea was to put some stuff in a spray. Okay, now this stuff is actually insulin for people with diabetes. And he figured, so if I put this in a spray and I spray someone, they'll have a fucking heart attack. And he did. He tried it and it worked, right? But he needed a certain type of poison to make this happen. And it was a hard poison to get. So he started to reach out to people to get it. And eventually he got introduced into an undercover agent and an undercover cop who said he can get this for him. And this guy came to his home. He knew this guy over a period of time. He got accustomed to this guy. He didn't trust him at first. Eventually he did. And this guy turned around and double backed on him and hit him with the Chicana U-turn and popped his ass, right? Oh, Chucky, get up, right? The Vato got up and Richard Kuklinski was apprehended. Now, the cold part about that is the whole time he was apprehended, he never fought, he never struggled. He just smirked and said, it is what it is, you know? And of course, he got stretched out, got incarcerated, and he's doing all day, you know, in the system he's in. Now, his story wasn't very popular. You know, no one really knew until eventually someone did a documentary with him on HBO and it became glamorized, it became popular, it became mainstream and it blew up. And of course he got a movie. Of course he gets no money out of that movie deal, but I hope that his wife and his children were able to enjoy the fruits of his labor, literally, as they did throughout his life. But just to sit back, and I want you to refer to his conversation. You can go anywhere, man, Google it, hit it on YouTube or wherever the case may be, and look into the Iceman, Richard Kuklinski, and just see the type of individual he is. Now, I take it for what it's worth, and I watch everything around me, and I was saying, Menudo in a direct fashion, Vato had a horrible, rough life. Is that any excuse to go out there and do the heinous crimes he did? Charlie. But at the end of the day, we don't know his mind state. We don't know his mentality. We don't know what that guy was going through. He thought in his own righteous heart that he was doing what was right by his family. He was taking care of his familia by any means necessary. And some people, they got the game twisted. They're going to go out there and make it happen. What makes him any more different from me and you? Yes, I wake up in the morning, I strap on my Red Wings, and so I go out there and get them. And late night, I'm trying to get that Red Wing. But at the end of the day, that's my life. That's how I live. He lived with the same perception of I'm going to go out there and get money, only he killed people, right? It was a little different, okay? Some of us do it for the safety and security of our people, and we're going to do it if we have to, like the Vato Cain Velasquez. Hey, man, I ain't trying to really get caught up in no mix, but if you fuck with me and mine's, now I got to fuck with yours. And that's where that guy went, and you know where that's led him. And boom, boom, we'll touch on that eventually. That was brought to you exclusively by ACP, man. They brought you that breaking news. But anyways, trip out. So I will say this. Look into this guy's story. Read into it for what it is. Don't jump and judge a book by its cover and judge this individual. Yeah, he's a sick individual. He's not the type of guy that you would want to meet in a dark alley on a cold night, and definitely not around no fucking ice cream truck. You know what I mean? When you hear, it's the ice cream, man, you better do it pushing. Because I'm going to tell you right now, this motherfucker ain't Master P. You know what I mean? But he gonna run up on you like a master and make you pee-pee. Guarantee that. Anyways, with that being said, like I said, tap into the story. Cold-hearted individual, man. The list goes on and on of several different ways that he murks people, several different bodies. He's such a cold, calculated mind. It's hard to get into that mind just watching his interviews. This man shows no emotion. He smirks at times. He literally tells the interviewer, right now, man, if there was, I'll kill your ass, right? Don't piss me off. Vato's like, pants on la tira. He don't want that funk, right? Motherfuckers don't want that smoke with Richard Kuklinski. He's a cold, calculated killer, man. And that's why I tell you, take care of your children. Pay attention to what's going on around them. Pay attention to what's going on around yourself, because you never know who's lurking in them bushes. You know what I mean? Bang, bang. It gets ugly sometimes. Anyways, with that being said, man, I hope that you go out there and you move fast with a purpose. I hope that you get every single thing in life that you want for yourself. But remember, hard work is what pays off. You got to go out there and struggle and strive to be riding that clean-ass Range Rover ride. You feel me? That's just how it is. Sorry, such is life as such. But at the end of the day, that's what you're going to do if you're a real man for your family or a real lady. You know, I appreciate everyone respects. As you can tell, the channel's been booming in Bangladesh style, Menudo style, in a direct fashion. We're keeping it going, man. So please hit that like and subscribe if you like this story. If you don't, hit that thumbs down, because heavy is the head that wears the crown. We're going to continue to boom, bang, and boop, 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 boop. Up over here in Gunners Collective. You know what it is. I'm going to provide you the best content I possibly can provide you. And that's what it is. You know, at the end of the day, I'm only one man. I'm only one, right? And I'll tell you right now, homie, don't fuck with me, because I'll get Iceman on you. Bang, bang.